When it comes to marketing on the internet, there's almost no tactic more effective than email marketing. In fact, that's what all the data has continuously shown over the years and continues to show. In a recent video here on the channel, we talked about how to use Fluent CRM, one of my favorite tools for WordPress, to actually create follow-up email funnels for your sales sequences. In this video, what I want to do is give you a little glimpse into the kinds of emails that I like to send whenever I am working on this kind of campaign. If you're new to the channel is Funnel Talk. My name is Steve Schramm, and here I teach you how to build high converting sales funnels using WordPress. So let's go ahead and dive right in, bring up the Blackboard, and look at some options for creating your emails. Okay. The most common, I could cover multiple of these, but I think I'm going to stick to just one. The most common one that I like to use when it comes to creating an email follow-up sequence for your funnels. It's super effective, and it really trades on the idea of storytelling, and that is the soap opera sequence, or the SOS. Now, it's named the soap opera sequence because soap operas tell stories. Okay. It's a continuous story over the course of a few days. And that's exactly what you're going to do in your email. So this is a 5-day email sequence. And it's got 5 distinct steps that we're going to use in order to introduce you and your products and services to those who sign up for your email list. The very first email that you're going to send when you get this process started is called the stage. Now, this is arguably the most important of these emails because it's really going to be the one that drives people in and draws people in to the very next email in the sequence. Now, to be honest, I could probably say that about any one of these. They're all very, very important and they all serve a purpose. So you need to pay attention to all of them and make sure that you are doing what you ought to be doing to get the results for each step of the process. Okay, so first email is a stage. Now, in this email, you're going to introduce them to a few things. First of all, who you are. They need to know your credentials. They need to understand who you are, what you do, why it matters to those people who are going through your email sequence. Next, you need to know, again, why. You need to explain why. What gives you the right? What gives you the authority to speak into this? Why are you passionate about speaking into this? Why are you doing this at all? And then how. Okay, it's super duper important that they know how it is that you are going to help them through this process. Now, you don't need to give away everything right here. Okay, this is actually a pretty short and concise email. The point is, though, that this story, the one that you're going to be telling, while it's about you, the point is to make sure they understand that the story is actually about them. Okay, that's kind of the big secret of marketing, is that the story, while you're going to tell some of your own stories and even some stories of your clients and customers, it really is more about the person who's reading in that moment than anybody else. All right, the second email that you're going to send, this is day 2, right? So this is day 1 right there. And now we are at day 2. Just remember that each of these is in their own day. Okay. So the second email that you're going to send is called the high drama email. This is the point of high drama. So the best stories don't begin with the backstory. And the reason is because it's slow. It can be arduous. You need some reason to really draw people in. That's why I said, that first email is important, but this one's really important too, because it tells people the high point in the drama of your story. Now, for example, in one of my email sequences, the point of high drama tells about when I had first started getting into website design, and I had been designing probably for a year or two. And I had a client who's actually a good friend and a pastor friend of mine. And also he had some affiliation with the ministry, one of the ministries that I was doing some work for. And his website had not been updated in quite a while, and it had redirected to a porn site when you Googled the website, which was horrible. It was not a good thing. And it took a while to fix, and I had to learn from that mistake. And I did learn from that mistake, but that was the point of high drama. So it's not really interesting to people. Oh, well, one day I was sitting around and then I started getting into, looking into web design and what would be a good, that kind of stuff. Again, I can tell it in a more interesting way than that, but the point is that you need to start with that point of high drama to get people interested in the backstory. So, what comes next? What's day 3? What's the third email? That is the backstory, except we're going to call it the epiphany. Okay. Because it's a backstory, yes, but it's a very specific backstory. Okay. So we're going to write down here, it's the backstory. Okay. But again, it is the backstory of the epiphany. Okay. So this is where you let people know that you have discovered something that, again, this is your product, this is your service, this is whatever it is that you're trying to sell or promote. In this email sequence, you need to tell the story of how you came up with that. That's the backstory that you're telling. How did you come up with that? How did it solve your problem? And why will it solve the problem for somebody else? That is the epiphany email. All right, the next email that you're going to send is the hidden benefits. Now, this is again a shorter email in the sequence, but it's actually really cool because what you're going to do pretty much in anything that you create, any service that you perform, whatever, you're going to find that there are secondary benefits to it that you didn't really realize. For example, when I got into website design, I had an inkling that I could make money doing it. But I never thought about the fact that when I would design for people, it would be something that could potentially transform their businesses. That and depending on what they did in their business, it was actually transforming the lives of these other people. For example, I have one client, Heart Call Ministries, that they do this fantastic work for people in these marriage retreats and really helping couples with their relationships. And it's kind of like I have a small part in any of the help that they give to these other people through the website and the design and the functionality and the marketing and the things that I've helped them do. And so that's maybe a hidden benefit. So it's something like I just didn't realize that all these other things could come from that as a side effect. And so that's what the hidden benefits email really does, to help show people that there are hidden benefits to the product and service that they may have never even thought about. And then the fifth and final email is the last call. Now, this is where you work in your urgency and scarcity. Okay. Your urgency and scarcity. Now, what's really important here is that this is genuine urgency and scarcity. Okay. Don't make this up. Okay. Now, let me give you, I'm going to hit that point again in a second, but let me kind of give you a really kind of general rundown on something that I think is very important. Okay. Let's come up here. When people buy from you, they are going to buy based on 3 things. First is emotion, and then there's logic, and then there is fear. Okay. So your emotional buyers are going to buy first. Okay. They're about, 50% or so of your buyers. These are people who just want to experience the emotion that you have, right? And that you have experienced, right? And so that's why it's so important that you have to convey that attitude and convey that emotion, because you're trying to create that same epiphany, that same thought process for them. So that's your emotional buyers. Next, you have your logical buyers. And this is probably, the next 30 to 35% of your buyers really are going to come in at this logical stage. And so this is your sales letters, this is your sales videos, this is your bonuses that you're offering. It's very important that you have these things because they are for your people who need to sell themselves on the idea further, who need to get more assurance of it, who need to sell their wives, who need to sell their husbands, right? You have to have some material there for the logical buyer to really grab to. And then finally, is the fear-based buyer. And I don't mean like scaring them into buying the purchase. I just mean having legitimate urgency and scarcity. Maybe in whatever you do, maybe you can only work with people effectively like 20 or 30 people at a time. Well, if that's the case, then you can't take more than 30 people. There's legitimate scarcity there. So they have to be one of the 30 if they want to really work with you. And so that's where those stages of buying come in, and where you're going to work that in is here in the last call email. You're going to make sure that people know that in order to buy from you, they're going to have to take action quick. All right. So that is Again, just a quick rundown of the emails that I would include in your follow-up sequence. I would highly recommend, if you're interested in learning more about this, to get Russell Brunson's book, .com Secrets. I have an affiliate link for you if you'd be interested in purchasing with that you can use to go in and learn exactly how to send and structure these kind of emails in your follow-up funnels. I think you'll find it seriously effective, and it will be a great tool for you to use. So again, I'm going to give you that link below in the description, and feel free to go check that out to grab Russell's book, .com Secrets. All right. God bless you. Thank you so much for taking the time out to actually, listen to this and watch this video. I hope it helps you in all of your funnel building endeavors with WordPress. Take care.